All right. Now we are looking at quadratics, advanced subsidiary level, CIE. Now we are going to look at how to complete the square. Examples on completing the square. Completing the square. All right. Now, how do we complete the square? In our previous presentation, I gave you the general approach on completing the square. Let's look at this. Let's say we have the question says solve x squared. Let's say minus 4x plus 3 equals to 0. Okay, x squared minus 4x plus 3 equals to 0 by completing the square. All right. Yes. Now, how do you, the keyword is here, completing the square. Now, let me show you something. Let me show you something here. Solution. When we talk of completing the square, actually, we are talking of expressions like this one. A squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Okay? If you had a squared plus 2ab, all right? When you add this term plus b squared, you are actually completing the square. So that this becomes a plus b all squared. Okay? Yeah. This expression here is actually factorized into this. Okay? That's how we complete. That means when we complete the square, you move from this to this so that we can have this. Okay? Now, if we are going to complete the square here, we need to focus on x squared and x here, these two terms. That means moving, you had x squared minus 4x plus 3 is equal to 0. So you must remove this term. Why? Because we wanted to have this part which we can complete the square on. At least the coefficient of x is already 1, so we can say x squared minus 4x is equal to negative 3. Okay? So we want this, like I said here. So what are we going to do? We are going to take this coefficient 4. Yeah, we can take it as negative 4, it doesn't matter. Okay? And that negative 4, what are we going to do with it? We are going to multiply it by half. We get negative 2. So what are we going to do with the negative 2? We are going to square it and add it on both sides. So we will have x squared minus 4x plus negative 2 squared. This is how we complete the square. Here we have completed the square, right? Now is equal to negative 3 plus negative 2 squared. We have added this square, the square of the half of the coefficient of x on both sides. So this now has become this generally. So we can factorize it and it becomes x, put this term, minus 2 all squared is equal to this. This is going to be negative 3 plus 4, which is 1. Okay? Yes, that's 1. All right. Now, what do we do next? We want to get x here, so we will have to remove the square by saying plus or minus the square root plus or minus the square root, so that this square root cancels this square. So we have x minus 2 is equal to plus or minus 1, because the square root of 1 is plus or minus 1. All right. So now we want to find x. That means this minus 2 must come onto this side. So we have x is equal to this one plus or minus 1. So that means x is equal to 2 plus 1, or x equals to 2 minus 1. That is what? 3 or what? 1. So these are the values of x, or the roots of this equation. All right. Okay. Yeah, that is that. That is how easy it is by completing the square. Okay. Now, okay, let's also look at this. Let's say you had this one. Let's say you had this one. Solve. Okay. Solve. Let's say we had 3x squared. Let's say plus 5x minus 2 is equal to 0 by completing the square. Yeah. Now, what would be the solution? What would be our solution here? Our solution here would be this. This is how we do it. We have 3x squared plus 5x minus 2 is equal to 0, right? Now, the coefficient of x squared is not 1, but 3. What does that mean? It means we have to divide by 3 here, so that the coefficient is 1 there. So each term is divided by 3. Now we are going to have x squared plus 5 over 3x, okay, minus 2 over 3 is equal to 0. Now, completing the square, we are interested in these two terms. This is where we are going to complete the square. So this term must go onto that side. So we will have x squared plus 5 over 3x is equal to 2 over 3, right? All right. Now we want to complete the square. Now we are going to take the coefficient of x, all right, and multiply it by half. Half time is 5 over 3. What are we going to have? We are going to have 5 over 6. What do we do to this 5 over 6? We are going to square it and add it on both sides. So we are going to have x squared plus 5 over 3x plus the square of 5 over 6. Yes, is equal to, we have this on this side already, plus this, the square of 5 over 6. All right? Yes. Now, here we have completed the square. Now we can factorize this. Remember, I told you, and I will still tell you, that we have a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, which is equal to a plus b all squared. So we have this as a squared plus 2ab equals to b squared. So when we factorize this, we are going to have x, which is this one, we leave the square now, plus or positive 5 over 6, now all squared. This, when expanded, will give us this. So this is equal to 2 over 3 plus 25 over 36. Plus 25 over 36. All right? Yes. Now, we are here. We can simplify this. We have what here? We have 36 as the lowest common multiple, right? Now, 3 into this goes 12 times, okay? 12 times 2 is 24, plus 36 into 36, 1 times that is 25. So what do we have? On this side, we still have x plus 5 over 6 all squared. All right. Now, let's see what we have here. Let's see what we have here. Let's see what we have here. I want us to be happy with this. All right. Now, we are going to square root this, plus or minus square root, so that we cancel the square, plus or minus square root, so that we balance. Okay. Now, we are going to have x plus 5 over 6 is equal to, okay, plus or minus the square root of 49 over plus or minus the square root of 36. All right. So I did show you that if you have the number a over b all square rooted, is the same as square root of a over square root of b separately. Okay? Yeah. Now, what do we have here? We are going to have x. And what are we going to do? We are going to be left with x alone because we want to solve for x. This must go on to that side. It will become negative 5 over 6. So here, the square root of what? This will be 6. The square root of this will be 7. So we have plus or minus 7 over 6. Okay? Okay? Yes. Now, this becomes what? What does it become? It becomes negative 5 over 6 plus 7 over 6, or negative 5 over 6 minus 7 over 6. All right, so this becomes what? Negative 5 plus 7 over 6, or negative 5 minus 7 over 6. All right, you are following. This becomes what? 2 over 6, or what? Negative 12 over 6, which is simply what? 1/3, or what we have here? Minus 2. So these are the roots of x. These are the roots of this equation, the values of x. When you substitute any of them into this, you will get 0. Now, that is how we complete the square. I've given you just 2 examples just to recap on how we solve quadratic equations by completing the square. All right, take care.